What's up, everybody? This is Erica, and I'm back with another episode of I Won't Be Long. And today, as you can see, I have a very special guest, my good friend, my good sis, Treasure. Um,
Hello.
she is going to be joining us for today's episode, which is going to be lifting the surface of life after loss. I think that this is a good topic and a good time to touch on this because, just one of the biggest elephants in the room with 2020. We talk about, or I know I talked about a lot of things that we've overcome in 2020, and in a lot of ways that we've gotten through such a drastic year, but there truly was a lot of lives that were lost this last year alone. So a lot of people are still trying to work through healing and trying to work through processing that hurt. And Treasure, she's had her own share, her own firsthand experience of what losing someone is like. So she's going to be here to bless our podcast with her story and then share her experiences. So without further ado, let's get into it. Treasure, how do you feel today, girl?
I'm feeling good, girl. I'm feeling good. Good talking to you, good sis.
Good
Smiling
talking
hard
to
as
you.
always. Yes.
Look, good talking to you, good seeing you. Y'all see she didn't come to play today. Y'all see she did not come to play. Sis is gorgeous, not pretty. Sis is saying gorgeous
you,
over
girl.
there.
Girl, thank you.
But so Treasure, I know that you have a testimony about dealing with loss and some with someone that was extremely close to you. So share with the people just your story about how you've been able to what you've experienced and how you've been able to get through it.
Absolutely. So like you said, pretty much everybody that knows me knows that I lost my sister. I lost my sister back in 2013, January 10th, to be exact. Just a little bit of background on that. My sister did pass away when she was 24 years old. She was born with autoimmune liver disease. So she was pretty much sick our entire life. So it was kind of something that was always in the back of my mind, but as years progressed and things like that, and different positive outcomes of different surgeries and different things like that happened, it just kind of seemed to be like a figment of our imaginations. It was no longer a realistic outcome for, her to be gone or to just have to think about her not being here with me. So my sister was 3 years older than me. We lived together. We grew up in the same house. We shared a bedroom till she was 19. I was 16. So like that was my best friend, my confidant, my book, my go-to, like my bully, like everything that you could think of comprised into one. And just not to get too in depth, but just knowing like we shared so much time together. Just it was more than just like my sister. I feel like that was like a piece of my soul outside of me, just because I saw the pain that she went through every day when we were young. Like I'm 11, she's 14, she's fighting for her life, like, you know what I mean? Like she got her liver transplant when she was 14. It was June or July. And I do recall like just experiences from that I can say probably bonded us throughout the course of our childhood. One thing that just like speaks to me and is just so vivid to me is I remember after my mom found out she was sick, it was just kind of like things just started to spiral. It was just like a doctor's appointment here. Treasure, you got to get tested. My brother had to get tested. My mom had to get tested. They're trying to figure out what's going on, what's causing this, what the situation is. And they're playing around with medications and all this stuff. And my mom would wash our hair every Sunday, like every single Sunday. And then she would hit it with the hot comb, fresh off the stove top, ready to lay us out.
Right.
And girl getting black magic, okay? And she was washing my sister's hair. She was washing my sister's hair, and they had just changed her medicine regimen. And I remember my sister's hair just started coming out in like chunks. It just was like balls. like serious balls and chunks. And I just remember all of us just being like stuck. My mom didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. She didn't know what to say. And it was just like what is going on? And I remember that night when we went to lay down, I talked to her and I'm like, what, are you okay? And she's like, Treasure, I don't know what's wrong with me. And now I'm going to be bald headed. Like, it was just so many things, but just knowing like I can remember distinct things with her being gone now, I just like cherish and hold on to those because I know I can't remember everything, but no matter if it was a painful experience or if it was a positive experience, I want to hold on to that because it can take me back to that time so then I can feel her warmth. I can feel her being somewhere around me. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But so we'll kind of speed up a little bit. So we'll get to say 2012, 2011, 2012-ish. I got pregnant with Melody. That's my youngest, of course, in 2010. I had her in 2011. And me and Destiny stayed together at the time. And after her liver transplant, everything seemed to be up and up. Like she had her medicines locked up. She's good to go. We are like, she's graduating. Life is just like progressing. We're good. And she started getting sick again. And she and I live together. So I'm seeing like this firsthand. I have a newborn. She can't work. I can't work. We're like losing our minds. She's feeling like she's broken down. And it's just like I said, just those moments are what caused like a solidified relationship for us because I could hold her secrets. I could be there. I could comfort her. So when it kind of came time for us to really realize like, okay, there's not really much that they're going to be able to do for her. Like I started to think about it, but I didn't really think about it because it was just like, that can't happen. Like, I cannot have my sister. What are you talking about? Like, she's going to be fine. We've been through she's in her 20s now. We've been going through this since she was 14, like she's going to be okay, but we're going to get past this. And I just remember when they put her on hospice and I was just like, okay, wait, you know what I mean? Like, hold on, something kind of a little iffy here. And she was in my grandma's house at this point. And I went over to see her probably every day, every other day. And she told me, like, when I came over, she had texted me. She was like, make sure everybody get out the room, you know what I mean? So I could talk to you. And we talked, like, and that's kind of when I knew, like, what time it was, just because the context of the conversation, the tone of the conversation, and how final some of her sentences were for me. You know what I mean? It was kind of like easing into it, like, Treasure, like, I'm gonna have to leave you. So like, I need you to make sure that you do what you need to do because like this is what it is. You know what I mean? And
I'm sorry. I'm thinking because you guys were so young, like, and just hearing you say, nothing. It's not really a thing. It's not really a big deal. So nothing's really gonna happen because you wouldn't think anything is gonna happen as someone. First off, that close to you, like your sibling.
Yes. Yes.
Your sibling, and then for you guys to have been so young, that's to the average person that wouldn't be normal. So like when you're having that conversation, when you were having that last conversation, what were some of the things that you were processing? What was going through your mind?
I was trying to, like, at one point I felt selfish about the thoughts kind of that were going through my head because it was like, I know, like, you can't do that. Like, you can't go. I need you. Like, I want you here with me. I want you here with me forever. Like, there's no way I'm going to be okay without you, period. And I know that she felt that. And I feel like that's why she made it a point to have that conversation with me. Like, you need to recognize the strength that you have within you, that you're able to process and get past this, because I know you're going to hurt. I know you're going to feel completely different than what you currently feel right now. And that's exactly what happened. When my sister passed, the world changed for me. Nothing that I experienced feels the same as I experienced beforehand. Nothing nothing looks the same. Like I've said this numerous times, like when your best friend is gone, or like that your person is no longer there, I feel naked. Like I feel naked in the world, like as a person. I feel, and you know, it's difficult, but it's not something you can't get past because it's grief. Like you said, I've had to learn it's a revolving, like, you know what I mean? It's a constant process. You're never going to actually completely be over anything. You're never not going to feel that same painful feeling you felt before. So you have to ride that wave, and you just have to find and grasp for happiness in different experiences, because you can't lose that. You can't be lost in that
Yeah.
with when you lose your loved one, you know? So it's kind of like I said, even, you know, you know me, girl, I'm happy go lucky, joking,
Yes,
like
ma'am.
funny,
Life of the
straight
party.
clown, okay, clown. But it's like nearly every second of every minute of every day, I think of my sister. It never leaves my heart. It never leaves my mind. And so after she passed, that was one thing that I had difficulty with. I had difficulty with living, like being just here. Like, I don't want to be here without her. I don't want to be here without my best friend. I don't want to have to face not having someone to talk to, or having to be mature, or having to be an adult, because she was a crutch for me. So she definitely supported me. She backed me. And so it was more or less like, okay, treasure,
Ooh,
let you should.
excuse me, sis. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But
I'm gonna edit that out.
but she was definitely like the faith that you're supposed to have in yourself. That was like my outside faith. So when she was gone, I had to really build myself and become who I felt like I needed to be. I went through months of depression. Like
Yeah.
months of depression where I would have been okay had anything happened to me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, it's cool. I can pass away. I'm good. Like, at least I'll see my sister again. I don't
Yeah.
gotta be up here feeling like I don't have anybody to trust and anybody to love, or feeling like empty, or feeling like I have something missing. And I still have that niche, that feeling, that instinct of like, I genuinely feel like there's something missing. I'll never feel like I'm whole again ever, but I can move forward with that piece missing, because I know that I have to. Life doesn't stop. So you have to push yourself. And it's a difficult journey. Like, it's truly a difficult journey. I just started talking to a therapist about it, and she's been gone since 2013. Like,
Wow. So,
so
and this is 2021. So 2020, did you start talking to your therapist 2020 or this year?
this year.
Wow. 2021. So, well, first and foremost, like when the thoughts that you were having, and like the space that you were in, that depressive state, I think you know, sometimes we don't give people like the right to be human, you know, because that's very real. Like losing somebody that you're that close to, that tied to, like those are all very real and natural human emotions. And but I think that what speaks to your strength is you not giving into it, because some people, they don't come back from those dark moments, or they don't come back from feeling like something's missing, because really there is something missing. There is. But that those thoughts of, you know, if they're not here, I don't want to be here. Some people don't come back from that. So, and this is what, 8 years before you start seeing a therapist. So what are some of the ways that you like pull yourself? Because at that time, what it sounds like is there wasn't any outside help, or correct me if I'm wrong. And if,
No.
and if there wasn't, how did you manage to pull yourself out of that state?
For months, like I said, I just floated. Like, I remember, like, I'm looking back, like I didn't work for a while either. So it was just like, I just let it kind of consume me. And once I started back working and trying to be social and trying to be the person that I naturally am, I started to feel better, but the reason it took so long is I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable with opening up. Oh my God, like this is what she meant to me, like sharing that with someone else. That's mine.
Yeah.
That's my relationship. That's what I want to hold on to that. I don't want to give this information to somebody else just so that they can analyze it. That was my mindset, just so they can analyze it and tell me something's wrong or tell me it's going to get better or, give it time, because realistically, that's the time makes it better type thing. I'm not a big fan of that because it doesn't always make it better. I don't feel like it's better. I just feel like I'm coping better. But the situation is still what it is. Like her birthday was March 2nd. And for some reason this year, like it was terrible for me. It was terrible for me this year. Like some years I'm good, but this year it just was like a ton of bricks. It felt like that night again. And I couldn't get it together. And it's like, you have to deal with that all the time. It's like a revolving door, but you have to push through. You have to find happiness. Like I look through her pictures all the time. I look through her poetry book all the time. I just think about like other things or like happy things. One specific thing, my sister loves butterflies, and I always see like yellow butterflies. So I'm like, that's her checking out. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I try to be happy. I try to find something. And like you said, everybody doesn't get that. And that's not going to work for everybody. But me being open and me talking about her helps me too. Like at one point, I felt like I talked about my sister too much and people was getting annoyed with me. I was like, I probably shouldn't. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to just stay here chill. Like, I ain't going to say nothing. And then I thought about it and I was like, wait, no, I feel better when I talk about her. That's my dog. Like, what you mean? You want me to be quiet? I'm not. Right. Because it helps me release that, because I also had anxiety a lot. So when you combine all of that, it's kind of just like, what's going on? Which way am I going? Am I going left? Am I going right? And it's too overwhelming. So I just talk about it. Like, yeah, you know what? My sister used to love such and such and such and such. Or Destiny would have loved this. I'm cooking this tonight. Like whenever I fry fish, I think of my sister. Like she loved her.
Yeah. So you still have those little memories, those little things that kind of, bring her presence back. Wow, Treasure, man. Look, and if you guys don't know Treasure, she's probably maybe 4 foot even. And
you need to stop. No, Lotto is 5 feet. 5 feet even. Give me my foot.
5 foot even, like a very small, very, very, very bite-sized young woman. And when I tell you she has the strength of an ox, like is because realistically, man, that is something I couldn't imagine going through that. I have an older brother, and as much as my older brother does, I cannot imagine, as much as my nerves, like I don't even think I have any nerves left cousin, but as much nerves as he get on.
But that's my
boy. Right. You met him. I couldn't imagine anything like that. So it's like, yeah, man, that speaks to your strength. And again, how your will to live overpower, anything else.
Well, I think I had to be not weak, but I had to release myself in order to actually grow from it. I had to make it a reality. I had to really look at it like, okay, at this point, Treasure, you can't change what has happened. You can't change that she's gone. You can't be gone too. So what option you got to do? You got to push through. You can't just let life just pass you by now. And then I have these children and I got all these years of just life ahead of me, and I couldn't be stagnant, and I couldn't be complacent in that position just because she was gone. Because that would have been worse than anything else I could have did.
Yeah, facts. And what do you feel like the last conversation she had with you, because some people experience a lot of, when they lose people, it comes in different ways. Sometimes it's sudden, sometimes it's over time, whatever the case. But not all the time, not often do people get to have those last conversations, and especially something that's where the person is trying to prepare you for life after, before it even gets there. How much of an impact do you think that had, and how you was able to deal with it after she passed?
I think that had I not been able to have that, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at. Like I wouldn't be in this particular step of grieving, because I've looked at it like that, and I've thought about it, because God bless the families of people who don't get that opportunity, who don't get that chance to say, like, I love you, or it's a sudden situation, because I feel like that's more heart wrenching than me being able to sit down with her. And I think that made me look at it more of a, how can I put it, more of a humbling thing. Like, she gave that to me. She didn't have to give that to me, but she gave that because she wanted me to have that. And she wanted me to know where she was at with it too. And like I said, that going through the situation over and over and over in your head is a natural thing. And I did. And for a while I felt like, damn, like, why couldn't it be different? Why couldn't we have been okay at 60? Why we couldn't make it to 60, make it to 40, make it to 30 together? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, well, no, that wasn't in his plan. That wasn't a part of her plan. So the pain that I feel, the trials that I go through, the emotions that I go through, that is part of my plan. I have to get through that to get to whatever next level is supposed to be for me. So I have to still continue to push through and appreciate it. So with that, I just appreciated that. Like the conversation, I just appreciated it. Like it was definitely tear filled and all of that other stuff. But like even the night she passed, like remarkably, I'm coming from South Charlotte and she was on East Side. I beat the funeral home there. You know how they come in, they pick up the body and all that other stuff. And like I said, she was on hospice, so it's kind of known that that time was coming. I beat them there, and I got my time to, like, she had already, like I said, she had already passed, but I got my time to touch her, to kiss her, to like release that first set of like, oh my God, pain emotions.
Yeah.
And I just remember when I touched her, I was just like, oh my God, like she is really gone. Like my girl is gone. But at the same time, I felt she was better. And she would have given anything to make sure that I was better if that was me. So I had no choice but to say, like, my girl is gone, you know what I mean? And like I said, some days I'm good, some days I'm not.
Yeah.
But once the reality of everything set in, is just like I said, a balancing act. It's a revolving door. And sometimes I can talk open, sometimes I'm bawling and snot crying. It's like, hey, you gonna take it whichever way it comes, but it's gonna come out. It's a process. Yeah. I can say that I feel better than I did at that time. I feel better than I did in 2014. I feel better than 2015. But these last couple of years, it's all been kind of the same emotions. And so I hope that, in the next 10 years, I can look up and be a little bit more okay, or maybe not as emotional, but at the same time, if I'm not, I'm not. That's the whole piece of me gone. So I'm gonna take it however it comes.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, and I'm saying you will, but yeah, you're right, and you're absolutely right. That's what life after loss like really looks like, is still being able to carry on, but also understanding that this is still it's still a real thing that happened. It's a real thing that happened, and it's okay if I acknowledge it. It's okay if I do have emotions about it, because it's a part of me. It's a part of my story. It's a part of my life.
Absolutely.
One last question that I do want to ask is just, and again, based on your experience and the conversation that she had, how or do you see yourself kind of preparing your daughters in a way where if they were to experience a tragic loss, that they'll still be able to move on? Like, do you see yourself having those conversations with them in the future? If you've not already started having them, kind of talk me through that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Harmony was old enough to
Mhm.
understand what happened. Melody was not.
Mm.
And the relationship between for those that don't know, Harmony is my oldest, Melody is my youngest. But the relationship between Harmony and Destiny, that was like everything.
Yeah.
Like their relationship was like mine and her relationship.
Yeah.
So, and I would most certainly say, my sister prepared her as well, because yes, she was a child, but even now she's it's a joy about it. It's not so much of a pain. And we do talk about it. We talk about it often, like all the time. We mention my sister all the time. We talk about, I check in to see if she's in pain, if she's feeling some type of way, if she cries, and so, if that situation was to arise with us, by no means would I would have that conversation with my children.
Yeah.
I would talk to my kids. I would tell my kids and open whatever I got on my soul. I'm gonna give it to them. I'm gonna give it to them. They can have it. I want them to know that, like, I felt that she let me know that I love them. I'm okay, and that they're gonna be okay once I'm gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew, treasure, girl, you have a story.
Yes,
You have a story, man, and you have a journey, and people, and again, people who don't know you, like they don't know that this is just a piece of who you are. Like you have a lot that you've overcome, but this is something that is is heavy, and it's tough, and then, like I said, a lot of people don't know where to turn or where to go, if they were to experience something like that. So I definitely appreciate you sharing your experience, sharing
They can definitely reach out to me, okay? I'm no lie, like, because I know how overwhelming it can be. You can feel completely overwhelmed by sadness. You can feel completely overwhelmed by grief, by the thought of the loss, by reliving the experience, by just anything. You could be having a happy moment, and it's a trigger. So like I said, talking to people helps me a lot. So I'm an open book. The people can reach out to me as well. Anytime.
Say no more.
Talking will, I know it's worked for me, but talking helps me. Like, that's it. It'll
it's talking through it. Through it, and say no more, sis. So with that being said, give the people some ways that they can reach you.
So my name on Facebook. So my name on Facebook is Treasure Weathers Harvey. Instagram is going to be treasured_1. And I'm not really on Twitter that much, so we'll just leave those two.
You guys heard it here. You can reach her on Facebook and IG. Scratch the Twitter.
Or through Erica.
or through me. If you shoot me a DM, and I'll be happy to connect you guys. Treasure, listen, you have a beautiful story. You are beautiful. You're glowing, sis, and you're killing this life thing. You are. So everything that you're doing, keep doing it. Any ways that I can tap in and be a resource for you and to you, just let me know. I'm there. And yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing your story, and I look forward to who all can be impacted by your message today.
Thank you, girl, and I love you as always.
It's coming soon, sis.
It's been a pleasure, though. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your platform, sis.
Absolutely, girl. Lifting the surface of life after loss, you'll find realistically, losing a loved one is truly never easy. It's like learning life all over again with
without the people who taught you about it first. But what Treasure's story teaches us is that no matter how difficult, how heartbreaking, or how low or dark you go, or how long it takes, there is always life after. But that has to be a choice you make. So make the choice to live for you and for the ones you lost. Because while their journey may have ended shorter than you imagined, yours is still going for a reason. This is Erica, and as always, if I can help it, we won't be long.